my name is Elise Erdley Blackwell, and I chose to do my research topic on how stress, loneliness, and the interaction with others affects our mental health. So I started off with this topic, interviewing a friend, and they just kind of told me about their experience with somebody who had impacted their life and their mental health. In a way that was kind of interesting because the interaction was purely negative, and they felt that their mental health decreased over time when they spent time with this person. And so I thought to myself, like, is that, one of the reasons or capacities that we could see with mental health is declining is who we spend our time with. So, one of the big things, no shock here, isolation is a huge deal. Um, we found that humans are really, really social animals. And, this is something we've kind of known for a while, but people need other people in order to fulfill simple human needs. We need human connection to um, feel uh purpose in human life is very important. um and it's vital to our mental health. It's not just something that we um have, but it's something that we really need. There was a study done where they had a bunch of COVID-19 patients in these hospitals, and those who had more visitors and those who had more family connections contacting them and spending time with them virtually through the pandemic had better physical outcomes. It wasn't just a mental thing. Their mental state of mind was better than other patients, but it also physically made them more well. And that was vice versa. So if the people who had isolation during this time, little to no contact with family or friends, often saw a physical decline. And that's just like really telling because often with mental health, we forget how it impacts our bodies. And it's not just our emotions or feelings, but it can literally change an outcome to an illness. So one of, the big question is, can negative interactions actually decrease our mental health? And the truth is that yes. People crave positive interactions like nothing else, basically. We want to be affirmed by those who we love. We want to be treated well. And when we have negative positive interactions, it really can decline our mental, emotional, and physical health. And um, negative interactions can include like just simple, unkind phrases, feelings of abandonment, or just an argument. So they did another study, that found that people who identified themselves with the LGBTQ community often felt more harassed than people who did not identify with that community. And that led to a lot of mental health decline. Fear of being called out in public, increased mental health issues, and fear of abandonment was a huge thing. And so one of the leading thinkings right now is that having unkind interactions with people who are part of the LGBTQ community often will have lower mental health because of the fear of negative interactions, and it's like a an emotion response, basically. So the interactions with people we love, I kind of like briefly talked about this earlier, but bad and positive interactions do have effects on our mental health. And over time, slowly we'll chip away at the mental health block with people who we interact with from day to day, but it's really mostly focused on the people we love. When we have interactions with parents, siblings, or people who we identify ourselves close with biologically, physically, emotionally, will have a greater impact than strangers on the street. We're more likely to take things personally, which can be a really detrimental or a very positive experience than just somebody that we don't identify as much with. And this is the same with both negative and positive interactions. The negative interactions are weighted more when it is people who are closer to us. And they conducted a study in Japan and found that when uh, elderly people were cared for by their family members and kind of kept that tradition of inviting elderly people into their home after they can no longer care for themselves, often improved more with their physical and mental health than those who were sent and put in a care home. So when people are in their most fragile states, we see that they actually improve when they're having positive and interactions with their families more than if they were having positive interactions with random people in like a care center. So positive interactions are just like negative interactions, just positive. So things that you would say are good, friendships, family interactions, people who are giving you affirming actions, um, words, will increase your health. So we crave, like I said earlier, we crave this positive interaction. We crave love and support. And that's not just humans, that's animals, but humans are very, very social. And it helps us to be better people, to feel fulfillment, to feel more direction. And researchers conducted a study among people who suffered from bipolar 2 disorder, and they found that when people with bipolar disorder were positively affected by the people in their community and around them, their symptoms of bipolar disorder decreased. This wasn't something that was like obsolete, and obviously medication is a very important step in people who have serious mental illness, but um, when bipolar patients would see love, support, and encouragement from their people, from even strangers, it helped a ton. And it was a serious, serious improvement on these patients' lives. So to wrap up, um, yes. Your interactions that you have with people who are close to you, who are not close to you, how you treat people and how you are treated does and will affect your mental health. And now, as we know, your mental health will affect your physical health, your overall life and joy outcome. So it's very important to remember this when you are going through your daily life and seeing where you can um, add joy into people's lives, and interacting with people that you find joy with, who give you affirming and positive interactions, because it does and it will impact your mental health. So thank you all for listening. I hope that was useful. And yeah.